Hello, hello, hello. It's Crafter Chris here with another Scrap Your Scrap Thursday night. We are going to make our September calendar page. My thinking here is I have papers like these that I haven't really used in anything. They haven't struck me as being something that I want to use. But I think what I'm going to try today is to create a page for September from this whole thing. So I'm going to cut like the center section out and just leave these guys where they are. So let's see if I can make that work. So I'm going to cut off my strip at the bottom here. You can use a Fiskars trimmer or any wire trimmer because then you can cut into the paper without having to cut through, but you can also cut it in pieces so that if you can't get the cuts in properly with your chopper, then you can just cut them into strips like we would normally do on our papers. So now I just want to do a quick eyeball, and I'm going to do some pencil marking as well. Pencil and a ruler. Alrighty. So this is telling me every time I measure this, it's a different thing. As you know, you've been with me many times for this. So this is saying 3/4 down here. See, it's just under 3/4, but not much. So I'm going to just make it 3/4. So I am going to draw a line very lightly. So I know where to begin and end. 3/4. I want to make sure that's accurate there. I have a feeling this one is not. Yeah, it is. All right, so I'm just going to take my dots and line them up. And I'm just going to do a very light line. So I can erase it afterwards. And then I think I'm going to measure from left to right. For some reason, I feel like that might be more successful for me. And from here to there, I'm going to say it's 10.5. Yeah, 10.5. It's a little bit over, but what are you going to do? 10.5. Put my mark there. And whoopsie, going from this line, 10.5. 10.5. There we go. And now I'm going to join those dots, and that will give me my right hand. There it is. It's funny, different light. You can lose your line. Okay, again, I'm just going to draw a light line there. You can barely see it, but it is there. And then from the top down to there is the most important measurement for this. So we have, I'm going to say 3 5/16. Oops, better double check over here. Yeah, 3 5/16 is what I'm going to measure. 3 5/16. Where are you there? And I'm going to put that 5/16. Okay, and then down here, 3 5/16. And there's my line. It's hard to see everything on this black, but I can also measure that in. And then the body of this is 7.5. See, it's off again, 7.5. So very straightly printed. So from this line, turn around so I can actually see what I'm doing here. I've lost my dot. Oh, there it is. It's probably a good idea to have this a sharp pencil, and then 7.5 down. So why is that slightly off? Three and 5. So that's dead on. And this side is not dead on. That's why. Good thing I have an eraser. I'm going to erase the part I can really see well. That was, whoops, 3 5/16. There we go. That would have made it awkward. Okay, that's a little better. All right. Okay, now 7.5. So we're going to go down 7.5. So that ends right about there. And we're going to go down from here 7.5. That ends right about there. And hopefully this line will line up. It's a little off, but I think it's the printing of the paper. All right, so now I got to cut this area out. So I'm going to get my cutter where I can drop in my cuts, and I'm going to find my 5/16 there. So I am going to start from the first line that I put down. And make sure I don't go over my second line. There we go. And now I'm going to make sure I'm right on my line here. There we go. Oh, this is working out. Hope it fits when we put it on the page. And cutting up to that point. And where's my little line? There it is. And cutting down to that line. All right. Woo! There we go. So I still have this piece that I can actually use in another project. And this is my shell for my calendar. So let's see how that worked out. Not too bad. Slightly off in some places. But that's not too bad. Not too bad. It's not perfect, but it's perfect enough. All right, so now we are going to glue this down. I might have to do a little bit of trimming just to make sure that none of the white shows around the outside edge. And I'm going to have to do some erasing, but I'll wait till I have everything stuck down before I start to do my erasing, because it'll pull on the paper and I don't want to rip my paper. So I need to put a fair amount of adhesive on this, especially close to the edge, because we want to make sure it doesn't kind of roll up or move. So I'm going to alternate going down here. All right, we're good to go. So I am going to figure out how I want it to land on this bar, and then I'm going to trim everything else to match that. Just going to put this down. There we go. Look at that. Now, this is interesting. This bottom edge is not quite right. Did I only measure 7? That's 7.5. Oh, you know what I did? I didn't measure the inside, including the top. I only measured the grid. So I need to pull this apart a little bit and take about 1/2 inch off of the inside of this, which is fine. I'm just going to pull the sides up and get my trimmer out and put it this way. So this is going to be interesting. I need to cut to 1/2 inch. Luckily I can still see my pencil marks there. And oops. I can just tape it right down to my cutting board. Oops. Going crooked. Helps if you are going straight. There we go. And now I'm just going to cut the inside a little bit more. I'm not going to try to cut the edges. I'm going to do it with scissors just because it's very tricky. Oh, I've got a rip here. That's unfortunate. That's okay. Alrighty, so let's try that again. And now I've got too much. Oh my goodness. Okay, that's all right. I have my leftover piece that I can just trim a little bit. So I'm just going to stick that on there all the way across, and then I'll put doodads on the corners. All right, there we go, but I'm already missing the hearts anyway. All right, so I do not want summer on here. I want something else, but let's get rid of some of these pencil lines first. Don't want to have to see those. Can't see them down here anyway. Alrighty, there we go. Got some pieces of color there I may use. All right, so I want to cover this up, and I have a couple of options. I'm literally just going to do the square size of that word. I can do it in plain, so that we have summer across here in plain, on plain paper. I can do it on a piece of wood paper. I have my letters across there. I can do it on a piece of text paper. The reason I don't like this is because the text is going in the wrong direction. So let's get rid of that one. And I could also do it on a piece of grid paper. So the grid paper is just a bit busy. So we'll say no to that. So I have the wood paper, which has just a little bit of texture, or the plain. You know what? I'm going to do it on the wood. And that's how I make a decision. Alrighty. So now, get my cutter out here. And I'm going to measure the height of the word. So it looks to me like it is 1 11/16. So 1 11/16. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11/16. Make sure that looks even in my cutter. All right. Just covers. I could have given a little bit more. All right, and the width is 4 7/8, so I'm going to say 5, just because, like I said, that is really tight. So let's just say 5, so we don't have to worry about what's going on either side. We can just worry about making sure we get it top to bottom. There we go. Perfect. All right, so I'm going to cover that spot. to line up and be centered. Woo. There we go. That just covered up that summer. Now, September is a long word. I think these letters are going to be too big unless I just put S-E-P. These ones are different sizes, so I can adjust accordingly. So let me see what I want to do here. I'm going to get out my Special Thickers line guide. And I'm going to try this one first. And we have different colors here, so I think I can play with this a little bit. I'm going to start off with a big letter, and if I don't like it, I will just put them back. S. I got a lot of different R's. So let's put a red R to finish that off. So that's one option. I'm going to turn off my overhead light so it's not reflecting. And there we go. So this is one option. The other option is just to put sept with these bigger letters. So let's see. I want to see what colors I want to work with. Green. Now I need a square. Because you can't put two circles together. Oh, that's round. Okay, no periods. So do we like that? So we have sept, or we have September. I think I'm going to go this route. These guys are just too many different things going on in them. I'm going to keep simple with that. So I collect letters whenever I can find them, even if I'm not really sure if I'll use them or not, because you just never know. You may have a project like this where you just need a particular color line. All right, now I'm going to try to get that centered. That looks pretty good. I'm looking at the tall letters versus the small letters. Okay, and I'm just going to put my ruler here and pop these off. There we go. There we go. September. I love it. Now this has been pretty quick. So I think I need to have a little bit of decor pieces in the corners just to kind of have the eye looking at something slightly different than the mistake I made. And we need something up there. So what is September? September's back to school. My children are all grown up. So what else could September be? It's not fall yet. It's still kind of summery. So let's look at some flowers. Let's see what I got here. See, these are very fall-like, but they actually are kind of in the realm of the colorway of the page. What else do I have here? Got some bigger ones. Oh, look, that's got some black in it. And these are all the same style as well, so that might end up working out the best. It's too much black. That one might be too big. So I think we're going to go with these guys here. Nice little corner decor, something like that. And then no, not liking that. And I have to think about that because the colors are a little bit brighter than that. So let's see what else we have. Oh, look at the boots. The boots are cute. We could do boots. And we have, these are all from the same collection, but the colors are a tiny bit muted. I wonder if I could pop those up by using a marker. We could do something like that. You know what? I think that's a better idea. Whoops, I like the boots. What else can I put with the boots? Nope, too much going on. I liked it this way. Pop dot the boots a bit. Now, so we're going to keep the boots there. These guys are going to go back. Whatever. All right. I do have other areas I can explore. Actually, this is kind of weird, but this might work. So if I have some greenery coming out both sides of the shoe, now that's a little too much. All right, what about just a medallion? A circle of color. So I have geometrics. And I want circles. So I'm looking at a circle that can fit behind. So it's got to be fairly large. Something like that, maybe. Something like that, maybe. I like that better, keeping it flatter. And then we have some of these other options. That might be too small. Yep. Ooh, that's got black and stuff in it. If we turn that around. Now, too much pattern. See, sometimes you just gotta. What about this one? Nope, too small. I think we're gonna stick with that one. And it's just gonna kind of sit on top. And I am going to brighten up these colors just a tad with some markers. So that's how I store my ephemera, in these containers in little bags. And these guys are done. Not going to use those. All right. That'll be fine. I'm going to stick that right in the center. There we go. Now let's color these up a tiny bit brighter. So we're going to start with tangerine to really pump these guys up a bit more. And I'm just going to do a quick coloring. Okay, so I went through all that because these were fairly pale when we started, and now they kind of fit in a little bit better into the tones that are on the actual page, and they're a little tiny bit brighter than what they were, so they stand out a little bit more. So I'm going to put some thin pop dots on the back of these, not too thick, just so we have a little bit of pop, but not a whole lot. Okay, there we go. Whoops, a bit too long. And again, it's still a bit too long. There we go. Covers up that spot nicely. I'm going to put that there. I'm going to put that there. There we go. Come on. All right, so they're just marginally popped up. They're not too high. You just get a little bit of a pop there with the thin pop dots. Okay, so we are in effect done. I have some trimming to do here. Maybe I'll do that now. Big long scissors, because I'm doing a long cut. And I'm just trimming it so that it matches the paper. There we go. And the sides are fine. And the bottom is fine. So that's all we had to do to touch that up. Now, a couple of things we can do before we get on to doing the actual dates are just adding a little bit of sparkle in those flowers, a little bit of sparkle on the heart, and I'll probably put glossy accents on that because I like my hearts to stand out. And again, just the centers of the flowers, just to give a little sparkle. And I might glossy accent those as well. Not the teeny tiny ones. Oh, we have to have gossamer wings on our dragonflies as well. The details are what make the work, right? There we go. So now you can see a little bit of sparkle in those flowers, or maybe you can't. There you go. Sparkles in those flowers. Sparkles in the centers of the flowers. The heart's all nice and glittery. There you go. Okay, now we're on to writing in our dates. And I'm going to take red. Red is a nice fall color. Let's see, I'm going to go with that red, not the brownie red. And I'm going to take, let's see, got some options of blue. I think I'll take that blue. And then, because we haven't used a whole lot of green, I've got some options of green I can use. I'm going to go with the lime because it's bright and cheerful. All right. So September starts on Friday. and I'm going to skip 2. So skip Saturday, skip Sunday. So the 2nd, the 3rd, and then the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th. Okay, and we are done. So there you have it, your calendar for September. Super simple, taking one of those weird cut apart pages and just cutting a hole out so that you can have your calendar poke through. And we have September down there. I probably should put the year. I can do that later. And if you like this video, please feel free to share it with your friends. And don't forget at the end of the video to like and subscribe below in the channel. And I will see you next Thursday. Bye now.